Hello, everyone. It seems to be a strange year for wild fruits on the property. These wineberries have been barely touched by the birds. Ripe red ones, like those over there, are wholly uncommon to see open to the air like this. You usually only find them when it's underneath other foliage and sort of hidden. And the birds just don't seem to be eating them this year. They seem a little more inclined to eat stuff like these black raspberries. Now, this one isn't ripe. I haven't seen one that's ripe this year. They seem to just be eating every single one to the point where I can't even find a single ripe berry so I can do a wild edibles episode on this plant. It's that extensive. At any rate, these wineberries are my favorite raspberry or blackberry anyway, so I'm more than happy to have to make use of them. And that's precisely what I'm going to do in this video. I'll pick all the ripe ones, get them all together, and decide what I'm going to do with them. So I've gone through and collected all the ripe berries from each plant that I could feasibly reach. And it's quite the haul, actually. It's got to be at least 30 berries here, if not more. So the next step is to take all these berries and put them in some sort of container with water so that they can rinse off and anything that's on them can sort of get dislodged. Now I just need to leave these to sit for a little while I decide what to do with them. So I've decided I'm going to turn these wineberries into jam. So I've washed them, rinsed them a couple times just to make sure there was no particulate or bugs on them. And now it's time to put them in the pot and cook them. So we'll turn the stove on to about medium low. And with a wooden spoon I'll sort of mash them up against the bottom of the pot just to sort of get the juices out. I don't want these browning or anything. I just sort of want them to reduce. Sort of squish them against the bottom of the pot. So I've sufficiently busted them up, at least for the time being. And there's enough water at the bottom of the pan to allow for even cooking. If you didn't have as many berries, you would probably need to add a little bit of water just so nothing burns or scorches. In fact, as a precautionary measure, I'm going to turn it to low. Now I'm going to add sugar until it reaches the consistency I'm looking for. Now, I can't give an exact measurement simply because the amount of berries is vastly different depending on your yield. That looks right about the correct consistency. If you see I drag the spoon along, it'll expose the metal before coming back. That's the correct consistency. And it's actually a little more pinkish when I do that along the bottom. That's the correct color as well. Okay, now that's right about done. I've turned off the gas and now I'm just going to let it cool. Now in my opinion, it's best to let it cool down to room temperature in the pot. Once it's room temperature, you'll be able to gauge the correct consistency and sweetness. And if you want to make any additions to sugar, you could do it really quickly by just turning the gas on and cooking it for a little longer. So I'll just leave this to cool and get back to it in a little while. Okay, so it's cooled down enough to where I can give it a taste. Alright. That's good. When it's cooked like this, it's a lot more like a strawberry. But with a little bit of raspberry in there, oh, it's so good. You could also strain this, preferably when it was hot, and you could use it to flavor a drink or something like that, and it would be absolutely delicious. This in tea would be amazing. Although personally, I prefer to leave it as a jam because those seeds in there are super nutritious. Well, I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you guys can give this a try soon. See ya.